Oh man, do I got a video today. A question that has never been answered before on YouTube. The craziest question. A question that people have wanted to know for so long now, but I am here to answer it today. Which one is better? We have One Piece versus Naruto. Now this question has been going on for a long time now on which one is better. You got the Naruto saying that Naruto is better, and you got the One Piece toes that are saying that One Piece is better. But today I'm here to answer that question with this video on which one is better. Now, no matter what I say, whether One Piece or Naruto wins in this video, the One Piece toes and the Naruto's are going to be upset no matter what. But I don't care. I gotta answer this question. But before we jump into the video, if you enjoy this video, hit that subscribe button right now for more crazy videos like this. This is possibly one of the biggest videos I've done. A lot of work went into this video, so hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment, all that. So let's jump into the video. Okay, so the video is going to be structured into 5 different categories. We have world building, characters, story, power system, and fight scene. Now, the winner of each category will get 1 point, and the winner who has the most points out of 5 will win this and is the better show. So, to start off, we have world building. Now, world building is basically setting up the world in the anime that you are in, or in the show that you are in. It's the environment around you, and it's how the world is structured. So we have One Piece. We have, different seas. We have the North, East, South, and West Blue Sea. And we have the Grand Line, which separates all 4 of the seas. And throughout the story, we see various different islands, and they are broken up, and we see them through sagas into the show. And in Naruto, we basically have just the Hidden Leaf Village, even though we get the Sand Village, the Mist Village, the Cloud Village, and the Stone Village. Now, honestly, I don't really think that this is a competition here. One Piece's world building is absolutely phenomenal. The way that they structure the world with the different seasons, how they explore the islands, and how they get really in depth with the islands, and what goes on, the issues into the island, versus Naruto, where you really have these villages, right? But it's so focused on only the Hidden Leaf Village that none of the other villages are really explored. We did see the Mist Village early on into the show with Zabuza, and it was pretty cool, but apart from that, didn't really go too much in depth with it. And we had the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist, but that was just really grazed over. I mean, we got to see a little of that later on, but nothing too spectacular. And One Piece is massive, and they don't stay in a certain place for too long, but I feel like the places that they are staying in, they're a lot more explored, and it's a lot more involved. I mean, you really go into Alabasta, for example. You really see how the Straw Hats get involved in how the country works, the problems of the country, the politics of the country. You see everything. And in Naruto, you see things mentioned in the story, and they kind of just get forgotten, versus One Piece. I mean, if they mention an island in episode 100, doesn't matter how many episodes it takes, it's going to get explored. I mean, doesn't matter if it's 600 episodes later. I mean, that's happened, but at least they explored. They don't forget about it. So honestly, in world building, One Piece, it wins by a lot. It's not even a competition. Naruto's world building sucks. Now, characters. Now, this is a really tough category to grade, because both shows have such good characters. The main cast and supporting cast in the show are great. So I'm just going to start off with Naruto here on this one. So we got the primary team, which is Team 7, which consists of Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. I mean, we have other teams in there, but the story mainly revolves around this team and the journey that they go on. Now, Naruto does an excellent job with this team in the character development throughout the show, and how we basically get to see how the characters, grow up from children to basically adults, and we see how much they develop through the journey, through their past and their backstory, and we get to see how they grow from that, and from the lowest points of their lives, and points where they were struggling. Now we see Naruto, for an example. We see him grow up from a mischievous boy to someone that the whole village looks up to, and we see that through the actions that he took in the story. And I think that it's just great how they show how the characters grow. Now, the supporting cast in the show is absolutely phenomenal. We got characters like Shikamaru, Gaara, Rock Lee, Hinata, Itachi, and Jiraiya, who each play a really important role in the show. You know, we have like Itachi, who he helps Sasuke grow, and we see Jiraiya, he mentors Naruto, and he really teaches him a lot. And we see Rock Lee, who is like someone that just works hard towards the goal and never gives up, even though they have a severe disadvantage. We see Shikamaru and how he really goes from, you know, he's still pretty lazy, but we see how, you know, he realizes that he has, you know, a role to play in things. And we have Gaara, we see how he becomes more human and how he learns to accept more people. And, you know, this is, you know, versus One Piece, also a really great cast where we have the Straw Hat crew, we have all the different Straw Hats. And, you know, One Piece really does take a different approach than Naruto. We see the Straw Hats, you know, basically grown up in the beginning of the story. I mean, they're all like almost adults, or they're all adults. So it takes a different approach where we don't get to see like the journey of them, you know, of them progressing from a child to an adult and seeing like how the world shapes them. Basically what One Piece does is it takes that adults that are already in the show and it shows how their actions affect the world. And, you know, the backstories in One Piece, they're great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that since they're not mentioned early on, it really hinders the character development of a character, because we'll see it and then like kind of just gets grazed over. I mean, it doesn't really go towards the overall character. It shows us like why they're that character now. It doesn't show us like, oh, they're going from this point to this point throughout the whole entire show. It's just like it just becomes, you know, not really too important. I mean, it's still important, but it doesn't really become like the most important. And like we have supporting cast in One Piece. We have really great characters like Vivi, Ace, Mihawk, Boa, and Whitebeard. But like the story is really big as compared to Naruto, and there's a lot of characters that get mentioned throughout the story. That these characters, as great as they are, they're almost forgotten, you know, a lot of the times. Now, even though both have like really great characters, great main cast, supporting cast, I really think that Naruto gets the slight edge on this one. So far we got 1-1. It's tied right now. Now, I think the story is important in any show. So I'm just gonna, you know, say what One Piece's story is. So One Piece basically is an infinitely expanding storyline. Like this could go on forever. But Naruto, it's not. Naruto, you can clearly see at the beginning of the show that it's going to have a definite ending. And for both of these, I'm going to exclude filler because, like, I'm only judging the actual story. I'm not judging the filler because not a lot of people watch filler. Who cares about filler? The original Naruto series, and up until the Pain arc in Naruto Shippuden, is arguably some of the best moments to come out of anime. I mean, this span in the story was absolutely great. It was awesome. Now, after the Pain arc, the quality in the show and the story, it did go down considerably, as many of the points in the story were left unanswered, or if answered, they made no sense. Now, One Piece, they have sagas because it's so big. You get such a big world, so they got to separate that into sagas. And in those sagas, you see arcs, story arcs, and the story arcs in One Piece usually does a good job at explaining the question or topic in the show. It rarely leaves plot points unmentioned and not expanded upon. We also have some really good arcs in One Piece, like Alabasta, Enies Lobby, Marineford, and Whole Cake Island, and Wano currently, which is going on. Now, what both shows have in common is they both have a war arc, and both of them do it really differently. We have One Piece with the War of the Best, and Naruto with the Fourth Great Ninja War. If I'm being honest, Naruto's war arc was a mess. It had really great fights, but I mean, as I'm going to mention later in the video with the fights, but looking on the story rarely made sense. And they kept adding things that were confusing and they didn't really need to add. Many of the issues in the show were supposed to be addressed there, and really there was no clear antagonist. I'm trying to keep this, you know, not as like heavy spoilers, but I'm about to say some characters' names. You want to skip like a little bit into the video, like 10, 20, 30 seconds into the video, go ahead. We had the antagonist Obito, but turns out he wasn't actually the antagonist. It was actually Madara the whole time manipulating him. But it turns out Madara was actually being manipulated by Kaguya. But it turns out that Kaguya was actually being manipulated by Black Zetsu. It kept changing up like every 20 episodes, and it was really annoying to follow and made no sense to follow. Like they were pulling all this out of thin air, and there was really no ground to go off of. Now in One Piece's war arc, on the other hand, it really wasn't as long as Naruto's war arc. Naruto's war arc was basically all of Shippuden. It was like 250 episodes. No, One Piece's war arc was like 50-ish, I think. And there was a clear goal. It was to try to rescue Ace, and we had the clear antagonists of that arc, which were the Marines and Blackbeard's crew for capturing Ace. Now, the fights in this were good. I'll get into that later on. But how it was the story was executed was great. A lot of the things into the show that happened up until that point really came into here. Luffy's character came into play here. A lot of things came into play here from the story. It was great. It answered all of our questions, and it really was just a great war arc. And the story in Naruto is good, don't get me wrong, but it definitely did fall off, and a lot of the things didn't make any sense. I mean, it was still enjoyable, but One Piece's, it really does stay consistent for the most part, so I think One Piece wins this category. So we got a score of 2-1 now. Now we have the power system. Now the power system in One Piece is devil fruits and haki. And in Naruto, as everyone knows, it's chakra. Now, the thing about Naruto is, early on, the power system made sense. And every character had a chance to become strong through training. Even Rock Lee, for example, someone who cannot use chakra and use taijutsu to defeat his enemies. He did so through hard work. As the story progressed, the power system became, if you are not named Naruto or Sasuke, you have no chance of winning. So it basically just became like, okay, you're not named Naruto or Sasuke, I don't know what you're doing here, you're not going to win this fight, clearly. You're going to lose. And, I mean, it really just didn't make any sense for that fact that it basically just gave the main characters the better advantage. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be in shonen, but, like, it did so where all of the other characters basically became irrelevant. And, like, the fights that you watched with those characters were disappointing. Like, the 5 Kage, they just became irrelevant. Like, they were made to be, like, really powerful. But then when you actually see them, they suck. They're weak. Now, One Piece takes a completely different approach to this with devil fruits. The devil fruit system makes it fair for every character with devil fruits, whether it's a good ability or a bad ability, to be powerful. Because it depends on the way that they use the devil fruit. I mean, you could have a devil fruit like Luffy. His is definitely, by all means, not the most powerful devil fruit in the show. But he comes up with a lot of techniques to make it powerful. And then you'll have characters like Chopper. His is by far like one of the weakest devil fruits, but he's able to, do stuff because he comes up with techniques that he can use with his devil fruit. And I mean, the devil fruit isn't even the only power system in the show. We have haki. I mean, they make it, very clear early on in the show that everyone can use haki, but it must be unlocked through training. So I mean, if someone wants to learn haki, everyone has the ability to use it. They can unlock it. We see this because characters such as Sanji, Zoro, Rayleigh, Shanks, and Goldie Roger, they had the ability to become strong by taking down their enemies because they possessed haki. They didn't have a devil fruit. I mean, I could literally make a whole video on One Piece's power system. It's literally one of the best power systems in anime, I believe. It's just really great. And Naruto's, I mean, it's alright, but One Piece, it really does win this category. So now we got the fight scenes. We got the fight scenes in this, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Naruto's fight scenes, I don't know what about them is, but they're great. They are great. The fight scenes are animated pretty well, and although One Piece's fight scenes are pretty good, I don't know, man. There's just something about Naruto. It just really had like really hype fight scenes. Like we have like some of the most iconic fights in anime. We have Rock Lee versus Goro. We have Naruto versus Sasuke, the first fight, and then we had Itachi versus Sasuke, and we had Naruto versus Pain. Now these fights were hype. They were great. I really don't know how to explain it. Just Naruto's fights are awesome. It's like you just turn off your brain and just watch like pure, like two powerful characters just fight each other, and it's just great. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, it's just the animation, the hype. It's how they really just set up the fight, the music, the everything, transitions. It's just great. One Piece has great fights too. You know, like Luffy versus Crocodile, Luffy versus Lucci, Luffy versus Don Flamingo. I mean, they're all great fights. But these fights, honestly, I know all anime does this, but One Piece fights are really dragged out. It kind of, you know, takes that hypeness and it brings it down when you're like switching from Luffy versus Crocodile to like you got like Usopp like running away doing something. Like it doesn't stay on that fight for too long, and it just brings it down because it's really stressed out, and like the animation in the fights are good, the music, everything. It just, because it's stretched out, it just brings the hype of it down a little bit. And Naruto's fights are always great. I never complained about one fight in that show. Now the winner of this is Naruto, and that brings us to our final score of 3-2 points. One Piece wins in this from these 5 categories that I had. Now these were both really good shows. I mean, they're both like some of the best, you know, anime. Like everyone likes these shows for the most part. But I personally just think just from this and from looking at these facts that One Piece overall just executes things better than Naruto. I mean, from the story to the action, it delivers everything with rarely any like bad points to the show. I mean, Naruto was really good. Don't get me wrong, but there's definitely a lot of flaws as compared to One Piece. If there are flaws, they're really just overshadowed by the greatness of the show. Now, I know the outcome of this match, no one's gonna like it. The Narutos are gonna be upset that Naruto didn't win, and that One Piece won, and the One Piece toes are gonna be like, oh well, why didn't One Piece sweep Naruto 5-0? It's clearly the best show ever made. Well, One Piece is a good show. Naruto is a good show. Both have their high points and their low points, but One Piece overall is just better. Now you're probably wondering why I made this video. Well, recently someone told me that they prefer Naruto over One Piece, and I told them, well, they're both great shows, but I mean, One Piece is pretty good too. And he said, no, Naruto's better. And I said, well, okay, I'm gonna make a video on, I'm gonna compare the two. And you know who you're watching this video, I can guarantee it. And so, yeah, this was a pretty big video to make, pretty crazy. One of the biggest videos I made, probably, and a lot of work went into this video. So again, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, you know, which one you think should have won and why, or which one you prefer and why. I'm gonna have more bangers coming like this one. I'm actually trying to make a series out of this where I compare some anime. So, yep, make sure you are subscribed so you can see more of that. See ya.